This is the second video in a three-part series about how to pronounce the umlauts in German. I mentioned in my last video that even though you may be having trouble pronouncing these sounds, sometimes because they're actually unfamiliar sounds if German isn't your native language, and if you're an English speaker, that's especially likely with the U umlaut and the O umlaut, but not so much with the A umlaut. There's actually another reason that could be contributing to some confusion with pronunciation when you encounter words with these umlauts in them. That other reason is that for each of these letters that we use in the written language, there are actually two distinct phonemes. So 3 letters, 6 different sounds. In this video, I'm focusing on the A umlaut. There are 2 versions, tense and lax. I'm about to explain what I want you to understand about how to tell them apart and how to pronounce each one. This time, it might actually turn out to be easier or simpler than you think. I want to start by saying that these are 2 distinct phonemes here, so you will most likely be doing a lot of memorizing with the pronunciation of your vocabulary individually. Think of it as something similar to your noun-gender situation in German. You can memorize some phonotactic guidelines to help give you a sense here. They just won't always apply. I'm going to tell you anyway and about these guidelines here, and they're pretty simple. Each umlaut has a tense phoneme and a lax phoneme, or depending on how you look at it, there's a long one and a short one. The tense umlauts are long vowels and the lax umlauts are short vowels, with one exception depending on how you look at it. I'm going to point that out soon. So the rule that I have for you is that the tense umlauted vowels tend to occur in stressed syllables and they're not followed by a consonant. And then the lax umlauts are generally followed by consonants. So basically, if you're forced to guess at some point, maybe that will help guide you someday. I'm going to move on and I'm going to tell you how to pronounce each sound now. I said that there was a tense version and a lax version of each umlaut, and I'm going to show you what those are for the A umlaut. I do also want to explain that there are 2 versions of the German vowel inventory, and I can show you how they differ here. So hopefully you can recognize which one is your target dialect. I will describe them both. So let's start with the lax A umlaut first. This is pretty straightforward. It's a short vowel, but don't get confused about that term, because when linguists say long or short vowel, we're actually referring to how long the vowel sound is. I mean, like how much time you spend in milliseconds actually articulating that vowel sound, as opposed to like the A in mate and the A in mat. Like that's the kind of thing you might have learned in grade school, which is how they teach spelling. So different thing. So the lax version of the A umlaut in German sounds like this. Eh, eh. And if you're a native speaker of standard North American English, this might sound familiar because this is a sound straight from your native vowel inventory. Say bet or fed. It's also the eh in hello. Some examples of this sound in German, spelled with the A umlaut, are Männer, Hände, Bälle, Äpfel. You might have just noticed a bunch of plurals. And that's a thing, because with this sound, it's used in the pluralization of a bunch of nouns. So yeah, same sound, spelled with an E in English and an A umlaut in German, or A umlaut in German. Let's go over the tense version of the A umlaut. Traditionally, this has been eh. That's a long vowel, and calling it tense is kind of liberal language, but some examples of this in some German words are Käse, Mädchen, Fähre, and Säge. But the language has been shifting and we've been hearing a different version with A instead, especially in the northern and the central regions. Bavaria and Austria are hanging on to the eh. But this isn't only a regional change, it's social. This variant is what's used in the media by news anchors and radio hosts and like TV personalities who want to speak a clear standard version of the language. This is the variant I speak too. So I say Käse, Mädchen, Fähre, Säge, People trained in classical theater or opera will almost certainly tell you that I do it wrong because I say Mädchen instead of Mädchen. But if that's the case, then so does Klaus Kleber.